Welcome back, my wasted youth. This is Rev taking you through Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition the right way. When last we left our intrepid hero, we had actually defeated Misty and all of her little underlings for the final Cascade badge. Hey man, that's great! So now we are almost out of Cerulean City. Well, for this time. Okay, so what we'd like to do right now is talk to this lady and trade a brand new Pokemon. And so now what we're going to do here is actually just trade for something on our brand new we're allowed to trade for it list. So hey man, that's great. Oh well, thank you very much. Of course I'll do that. Yep, those two are great. Okay, so now what we are actually going to do is we are going to get rid of this Oddish. That's fine, we don't need it anyway. I actually caught quite a few Oddish and Bellsprouts just to, well, yeah, trade them for things that we are actually allowed to trade for now. So, yes, of course I am going to want this Ekans. And so now, just like this, we will have a Ekans. A brand new Ekans available only in Pokemon Red, and now it's, well, ours. Perfect. That sounds great, so yeah, we're done. And now let's get back to our regular adventure. Okay, and just like that, before we actually put this Ekans in the PC, let's take a look at it, and we will see exactly what our Ekans looks like. Hey man, that's great. And now we will get our regular party together and continue on with what we were normally doing. Okay, now what we are going to do is just continue on with exactly what we were planning on doing before. Now, what I meant by we're done with Cerulean City for now is that the way Generation 1 is designed, we are going to have to come back here many times. Now, granted, we could probably save everything that we need to do up for one big final trip, but it's probably easier just to do things kind of in the way they were meant to be done. Now, when you come down this area, you want to stay as far to the right as you can, and that way you won't end up right back in town. Here is probably a good spot to save your game. Once you jump into this grass, you will end up running into Rattatas, Pidgeys, and Pidgeotos, ranging anywhere from level 14 to about level 17. You're also going to be running into Meowth for the very first time if you're playing Pokemon Blue. But since this is Pokemon Yellow, Meowth is actually unavailable to us. All that means, though, is now it is on our available for trade list, which is great. So why are we walking around in this grass? Well, it turns out there are actually two Pokemon we are really looking for. One of them we have seen, and the other we have not, but we definitely want them both. So all we are going to do is, unfortunately, farm them out. And hopefully it won't take that long. See, neither one of them are really all that rare to find, so now it's really just a matter of finding them before we're completely KO'd by all the random enemies, which, by the way, are roughly the same level as we are. So hopefully we're going to be able to find them relatively quickly, and then we can actually just get on with the game. Okay, so now we will just farm for a little, well, actually we have no choice. We have to farm for as long as this is going to take. I can't really say I like it. But here we go. Now this is what we're actually looking for. What is Abra?
Abra, a psychic-powered Pokemon. It sleeps 18 hours a day, but employs telekinesis even while sleeping.
Abra is a psychic type that evolves into Kadabra at level 16. Now the only move it's going to learn on its own is Teleport at level 1, and that's it. Now it does actually learn a lot of strong TMs and the HM Flash, but it's probably best to just evolve it to a much stronger Kadabra and let it learn Kadabra's moves. It is a defensive disadvantage to bug types and an offensive advantage to fighting and poison. Abra's name came from the word abracadabra. Hey, no real surprise at all. Nintendo was planning on naming it Hocus, as in Hocus Pocus. Okay, absolutely perfect. Now, here is actually the reason I have Butterfree at the front of the party. we are going to start with sleep powder. Because, yeah, this is the only thing that's really going to work. See, unfortunately, Abra is a level 7, which means anything we actually try will probably knock it clean out. We can't have that. So, unfortunately, all we can really do is Leech Seed. And once we've Leech Seeded this thing, it's still fast asleep, and that's great. But now it actually has to start doing a little bit of damage. So we are going to growl a couple of times, and then we are going to switch. Oh boy. And now comes the fun part. Because basically, here's what we have to do. We actually have to try to throw a Pokeball and catch this thing. Can we actually do it? 2, and not a chance. Now, Abra has only got one attack, and that is Teleport. And as you've just seen, occasionally it's going to fail. So all we can really do here is just continue to throw out Pokeballs and hope. Now, in this case, it was caught. That's perfect. We are now done. No question, we are completely done. I am totally happy with 2. So no, I don't think we are going to, and that's it. We're done. And so now all we actually want to do is head right back to Cerulean City. But you know, before we do that, let's stop in here. Hi. Oh, do you now? You know what? I would love that. Okay, well, I tell you what. How about if we raise this Magikarp? Okay, that's great. Okay, I will. Thank you very much. Okay, now, just like that, all we have to do is go into our menu, into Pokemon, right down to Abra, and teleport. I know, it is that easy, and this will become very important very soon. And why is that? Well, because now we are going to try catching Mew in Pokemon Yellow. And so now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Mew is a glitch and Mew shouldn't actually be there. Well, it's not quite the case. See, when Pocket Monsters Red and Pocket Monsters Green had finally been finished, and they were ready to be put onto the carts and shipped out, they removed all the debug features, and the entire staff was told, don't change the game anymore. That's it. Well, unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, it left just enough space for one Pokemon to be added secretly. Now, where I'm standing, right here, save your game. Very important, you're not going to get the chance to do this later. This is the one shot you have to get this right. So save your game, and I have put Bulbasaur at the front of the party. You'll see why. I find it very important to have Bulbasaur at the front of the party. Okay, now at this spot, you want to walk down one step and hit the start button at the same time. You want your menu to open while you're stepping into this square. And that's it. See, now basically all that's happened is I have actually just kind of stopped that one trainer from spotting me. So the first thing I want to do is go into my Pokemon and go to Abra. And Abra is going to teleport. And where is it going to teleport? Well, it turns out that before this trainer can actually hit me, Abra is going to teleport right back to this Pokemon Center. And that's great. That's the trick. That's the whole trick. Now, there is a second part to it, but that's the only part that's really difficult. Now, when the room was added or left open for another Pokemon to be added, it turns out that it wasn't Ken Sugimori, who is the art designer and art director for all of the strategy guides for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, as well as Pocket Monsters Red and Pocket Monsters Green. He isn't the one who actually designed it. It turns out it was just another developer. And the other developer was named Shigeki Morimoto. And he designed it as kind of a backdoor joke that only the people in Game Freak would ever know about. The only people who would know of Mew's existence were the people who still worked at Game Freak. Which means, all of a sudden, Mew isn't a glitch. Mew is actually supposed to be in all of Generation 1 games. No one knew about it. And the way to catch Mew, granted, it is kind of glitchy, but it's supposed to be there too. There is no Mew glitch. Now, you want to come to this spot, to the last trainer that we have not actually faced yet. You want to go as high as you can up against this back wall. See, I can't go any farther. And then you want to step into him. Now, this particular trainer is the only one that we have not faced yet. Oh, really? SSN? Hey, man, I got a ticket for the SSN. Okay, now, this guy has got one Pokemon. Only one. And it happens to be something we've never seen before. So, what is a Slowpoke?
Slowpoke, the dopey Pokemon. No one can tell what a Slowpoke is thinking. If it ever does think, its specialty is fishing with its tail.
Slowpoke is a water and psychic type that evolves into Slowbro at level 37. At level 1 it has Confusion, at 18 it has Disable, at 22 it has Headbutt, and at 27 it has Growl. Slowpoke has super high HP and can definitely learn some great attacks, but man is it slow. It can learn a lot of really strong TMs and 3 of the HMs, which is great. Now it has a defensive disadvantage to Bug, Electric, and Grass. As a water type, it has an offensive advantage to Fire, Ground, and Rock, and as a psychic type, it has an advantage to Fighting and Poison. Slowpoke's name is kind of fitting, as it's a Slowpoke. Now, Nintendo was originally planning on calling it Slow-Mo. Okay, that's great. Now, I have Bulbasaur in the front of the party specifically for this. Since I'm running this on a cartridge and not an emulator, we can't save state. I'm going to have to put in this little bio for Slowpoke in post, and that's fine. You have one shot to do this, so I'm just going to go with Vine Whip. Now, I have a strong feeling that Vine Whip should actually do pretty well. Confusion is going to hurt. It's not going to hurt half as much as I thought it would, but this Slowpoke should be down very quickly. Now, the kick in all of this, though, is that, well, turns out we actually don't really need to worry about Slowpoke at all. Okay, that's great. So now Bulbasaur has grown to level 20, which is perfect. And trying to learn Poison Powder, you know what? Forget it. I am not going to have Poison Powder being learned. So I'm going to say no, and yes, I'm going to abandon it. And that's it. Perfect, man. I'm glad you're not mad. You are actually not on my watch. Bulbasaur is definitely not going to evolve here. Okay, so now this fight is actually over. We do not want to talk to this guy. Instead, we want to go back into the menu, back into our Pokemon, and back to Abra to teleport. Right back to the last center we were at, which just happens to be the one in Cerulean City. Man, that's perfect. Okay, so now Shigeki Morimoto put Mew in, and that's great, and no one knew about it. And I do mean no one knew about it. Well, in the spring of 1996, Satoshi Tajiri decided it would be a good idea to try and promote the game and the newly released trading card game through Koro Koro Comic. So they gave away a promotional trading card with a copy of the comic. And the promotional trading card was Mew. And they flew off the shelves. Now, you're going to come up here. I didn't do that. That happened all on its own. Your menu just opens. Now, here's the kick. When you close it, one trainer, you're going to see the black shape, like the silhouette of one trainer on the bridge. And then the fight starts. That's it. You can't actually control this. This is good. But this is why I have Bulbasaur at the front of the party. And now the fight starts. So, this is Mew. But, what is Mew? Mew is a psychic type that does not evolve. This is definitely the 5th of the legendary Pokemon in Generation 1, and you're not supposed to be able to catch it, but you can. At level 1, it's going to have Pound. At 10, it'll have Transform. At 20, it'll have Mega Kick. At 30, Metronome. And at 40, it'll have Psychic. Now, Mew can learn all 50 TMs and all 5 HMs. This thing is a massive powerhouse. It has a defensive disadvantage to Bug and an offensive advantage to Fighting and Poison. The idea of having the invisible Pokemon that it was impossible to catch is probably the single greatest selling feature for all of Pokemon. And man, this is it. This was great. Now, the origin of Mew's name is, well, a little bit easy. To mew means to meow. Okay, that's great. And this is why I have Bulbasaur in the front of the party. See, again, it's level 7. We can't actually do anything here. So I am just going to Leech Seed and then immediately switch out. At this point, I don't care if Bulbasaur is hit or not. So, I am just going to switch out, and I am going to go to Butterfree. Now, Butterfree is just going to continue to put this thing to sleep, and that's the fight. Really, that's all it takes. Pound is not going to do anything to us. Well, I mean, granted it is, but we're going to get half the attack power, or half the lost HP back. So all we're going to do is just sit back on Sleep Powder and continue to put Mew to sleep. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. We have a lot of shots to get this thing right. So now, anyway, the trading card worked so well that on April 15th of 1996, there was a contest for Mew. And basically what happened is Nintendo and Game Freak allowed 151 certificates to be released, allowing 151 lucky players to actually gain their own copy of Mew. And all this whole Mew thing actually did was it let the fans really start kind of mulling over the legend of the invisible, uncatchable Pokemon. This thing turned out great. So, it boosted sales huge. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted a copy of Pokemon, or Pocket Monsters in this case, Red and Pocket Monsters Green, to try to catch Mew. Perfect, man. Mew is not a glitch. So now, you know what? I'm actually going to start throwing out Pokeballs here. So we are going to put, or try to put Mew back to sleep one more time and then just start throwing Pokeballs. I don't think we're going to catch it on the first shot. I don't think it's anywhere near low enough health yet, but we're going to give it a shot. So, here's the first one. Does it work? Not a chance, and I didn't think it would, but we're going to continue doing that. We have a lot of Pokeballs here, and we are going to catch it. Now, ultimately, what I should be doing, but I don't need to, 2 Pokeballs, Mew is caught, and that's how you catch Mew the right way. Totally legit, no glitches, no tricks, no GameShark codes, and that's it. We're done. And so now what do we want to do? Because fact of the matter is we are, again, done in Cerulean City. Well, I tell you what. Let's get ready to trade a new Pokemon and find out what happened to Shigeki Morimoto. See, in Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, there is a random trainer out there named Shigeki Morimoto. And the fact of the matter is, this random trainer is the only random trainer in the entirety of the Pokemon universe, with the designation of Game Freak. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode. This has been Rev taking you through Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition the right way. Thanks for watching. Till next time.